Hey guys, Matt Miller here with Political Brawl News. Watch Kevin O'Leary, who is a massively successful businessman, explain to these CNN Democrats that you actually need to perform at your job if you expect not to get fired. This is a lesson that the USAID employees and a lot of the government agencies in Washington, D.C. are about to learn the hard way at the behest of DOGE and Elon Musk. Watch Kevin O'Leary tear these guys a new one. Check it out.
They need to read the room. I mean, there have been 3 major plane crashes in just, less than a month. One of them was just a few blocks from the high school I went to in Northeast Philadelphia. And, tell that to the little boy with the metal in his head, trying to protect his sister during that plane crash. I think that not only do you have to protect the safety of Americans physically, but I think you have to protect our safety mentally. We see you laying off people from the FAA. At this point, nobody at the FAA is dispensable. I think you have to keep everybody there at least, for the time being, because we've had these major plane crashes that you haven't seen in 16 years.
Kevin, the optics of this is what you're referring to.
I think the issue is they're not whacking enough. There's this concept in private equity when you get a bankrupt company and you go in there, you cut 20% more than your initial read. And then you find, like a pool of mercury, the organization gels back together again. Always cut deeper, harder when there's fat and waste. The FAA, it's not the people. The code is cobalt. It's from the 60s. It needs CapEx put into it for the technology to be upgraded to make it safer. Fat, like a chicken. All of these agencies are like big fat chickens dripping over barbecues of fat. This is the best barbecue I've ever seen, but I don't think it's happening fast enough. They're not cutting enough. Keep slashing, keep hacking while you have a 24-month mandate before the midterms. Cut, more cutting. Believe me, it's going to work out just great. Everybody should be happy about this.
Even people with the nuclear codes, cut them too?
Cut everything. Because if you don't see what they're doing and they can't show you that they're adding value, you whack.
But it's not clear that they're even asking people to show us what you're doing. Again, this was a story Friday, and literally Elon said, oops, we gotta rehire them because nobody knows how to do what these people know how to do.
Yeah, the nuclear thing, okay, gets it wrong once in a while, big deal, so what?
I agree with that.
That's 10% of the time.
It's okay. I actually think it's okay if they run into a stumble here or there because the project is so massive. The need to cut is so massive. The government is so massive. It's inconceivable that you wouldn't make a mistake here or there. But I think that's acceptable if the greater goal is achieved, which is a smaller government, more efficient government. Trim the fat.
Even if someone dies, or even if someone, because
are you alleging that someone has died from this?
We don't know. I'm talking about when the rubber meets the road. I'm talking about, for example, Kansas City. 30,000 government employees might be laid off. It will destroy the economy of Kansas City. That's okay.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm reading what the individuals from Kansas City have been saying, that they're very concerned.
What do you think they're going to say when they're going to get whacked?
Of course they're going to say that, but my point is, do we think that's smart to live in an American city just go under?
How many American cities need a massively oversized federal government to stay afloat? I mean, isn't that says more about the city than the government?
But when did we get to the point where presidents are measuring themselves by how many people they put out of work instead of how many people they get jobs for?
Not a moment too soon.
Yeah,
this
is crazy. This is
because the government only ever gets
big
bigger,
fat chickens, hopefully they lay some eggs and maybe then we can afford it.
These Democrats love big government. And they are outraged at the very idea that people are going to be held accountable and asked to perform at their jobs and to prove that they're important at their roles to keep their jobs. Elon Musk and DOGE, they're doing God's work in the federal government right now. They're actually cutting it down to size. They're making sure that the American taxpayer is not getting ripped off every single day, massively, millions of dollars going to woke ideological programs all around the world, DEI programs, sex change surgeries, transgender musicals and musical theater. We've heard it all. We've seen the White House reports, and we've even seen, one of the things that they always say is, DOGE isn't transparent. DOGE has an X account where they document every single day what they're finding, where they're finding it, who is implicated. This is the most transparent effort that somebody in the United States government has ever done. So I say it a lot, the Democrats don't have a leg to stand on here. And Kevin O'Leary is absolutely right. When you take a business approach to this, you look at the government, it is defunct. It is a bankrupt, failing business. And that's how we should look. That's how we should look at everything here. We should look at the government, we should look at our economy as a businessman looking at their business, cutting waste, making sure that we stay on budget and we don't borrow money frivolously, we don't do tremendously irresponsible things. We got to put those attitudes aside. Those are the attitudes that have prevailed in government, in these bureaucracies for decades, and they've nearly destroyed, they've all but destroyed this entire republic. We need somebody with the mindset and the attitudes of a businessman, and especially Elon Musk. He's not just a businessman, he is the businessman. There's nobody that's been more successful starting businesses, running them with a deep intellectual approach, somebody who's made more money than anybody in the world. That's the guy who I want in charge of auditing our government and making sure that we're not wasting Americans' hard-earned tax dollars. That should go without saying, but it's heartbreaking and it's infuriating to see how many Democrats and liberals are against this. You know, even the idea of cutting things that are objectively waste, they don't want to cut a cent. This guy's complaining about people losing jobs rather than, Trump and Elon Musk should hang their head on how many jobs they create. Not if they're fake, phony jobs that are held by lazy people who don't have deliverables, who don't have to perform and actually create value. If you work for the government, whatever you do, you need to be creating value for the taxpayer. You work for the American citizen. But we've seen people shoveling money overseas for DEI programs and all kinds of just absurd, ideologically driven line items. So you know what? It's too bad. If they don't like it, it's happening. And they're going to have to deal with it. And we're going to bring sanity, fiscal sanity, back to the American government, slash these bureaucracies down to size, just like O'Leary says. And he, as well as a tremendously successful businessman, he relates to this idea that Elon Musk has and Trump, another businessman, that this should be run like a business, because we're going to get good results that way. We're not going to be patting people on the back and letting them take 6 months vacation, letting them work from home in their PJs. And we know people don't work from home as well on average than they do in the office, wearing a suit and tie. Get your butt into the office and start working for the American people. And if you don't want to do it, then you're gone. Fire them, slash it all. I totally agree with Kevin O'Leary, and this is something that every American who pays taxes should be fired up about. We should be on Elon Musk's side. We should be supportive of what Trump is trying to do here, and he's got a short window to do this, I think. Like he said, running up to the midterms, things are going to have to change, and policy execution is going to change, because you have to be sensitive about the election and all of that, and the details with that. But we have 24 months to make a big difference, and I love the rate, the speed at which Elon Musk is taking action here. That's another thing that they hate. This is happening really fast. Well, you know what? In business, in the free market, and in the private sector, things have to happen fast. You can't just say, oh yeah, we'll get to it 6 months from now. We'll get to it a year from now, maybe. And you don't actually have a deliverable. In a business setting, if you find a problem, you eliminate it before you leave that day, before you clock out. Democrats can keep crying about it. It'd be better if they got on board and saw this for what it is, a totally justifiable downsizing of the government, to leaning of the government, getting it down to its component parts, the parts that actually matter, and remove everybody else that's just a waste of space. So let me know what you guys thought of this clip in the comments. Do you agree with Kevin O'Leary here? Let me know. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you guys get notified when we post brand new videos. And make sure you guys follow us on Substack at Politbrawl Substack. We're posting a lot of new content there, and that's really the home base of this entire media publisher. Thank you guys for your support. I'll see you next time.